The first night in the city was silent, too silent for Glory. Back in Amiri, the nights were filled with sounds, crickets singing, owls hooting, her father's drunken voice shouting curses, the rattling of old pots as she scraped together leftovers, if any. But here in the tiny room behind a white mansion, everything was still. She lay on the bed, a real mattress, not the old mat she used to curl up on. Yet she couldn't sleep. Harrison had left her alone after showing her the small kitchen and bathroom. "You can use anything you find," he said kindly, avoiding her eyes. "Rest. We'll talk tomorrow." He didn't lock the door. That surprised her. In Amiri, everything was about control. Doors slammed. Orders barked. Here, there was space. She lay awake until the first light of dawn. In the morning, she heard birds chirping, soft, sweet songs that felt like a welcome. Slowly, she sat up and stretched. Her muscles still ached from years of carrying water, wood, and pain. But today she was free. Kind of. She found water in a blue kettle and boiled it on a small gas burner. She didn't know what to cook, but Harrison had left bread and some eggs on the table. She made tea, boiled 2 eggs, and set a plate for him. When he returned from his night shift, his eyes were tired, but warm. "You didn't have to do that," he said, looking at the food. "I wanted to," she replied softly. He sat down, and for the first time they really talked. Harrison told her his story. He was once a student, studying engineering, but his parents died in a car accident. His uncle took everything. He dropped out, worked odd jobs, cleaning, farming, guarding, just to survive. He had dreams, but they were packed away like forgotten clothes in an old suitcase. "And you?" he asked. Glory hesitated. Her story was full of thorns, and speaking them felt like bleeding. "I just want peace," she said. He nodded. That was enough. Over the next few days, they settled into a rhythm. Glory swept the room, watered the flowers along the walkway, and cleaned with care she had never been appreciated for. Harrison left for work in the evenings and came home by sunrise. He brought her books to read, old novels, magazines, even a dusty Bible. One morning, as she swept behind the house, she discovered a small iron gate hidden by overgrown vines. Curious, she pulled them aside. The gate creaked as it opened to reveal a forgotten garden. It was wild. Weeds had taken over. Flowers fought to bloom. A broken bench sat beneath a mango tree, and a cracked bird bath stood dry in the center. But to Glory, it was magical. She ran to Harrison when he returned. "There's a garden!" she exclaimed, eyes bright. "A garden?" He smiled. "Back there?" "I've never looked." "Can I clean it?" "Of course. It's yours now." Those words stayed with her. It's yours now. Every afternoon, Glory worked in the garden. She pulled weeds, watered the thirsty soil, planted seeds Harrison bought from the market, tomatoes, okra, hibiscus. Her hands, once used only to survive, were now creating beauty. Neighbors began to notice. One afternoon, an older woman walking past the gate stopped and peered in. "You planted those flowers?" Glory nodded shyly. "They're beautiful," the woman said. "You have gifts, my dear?" That evening, Glory cried. Not from pain, but from kindness. From someone seeing her, not as a burden, not as a transaction, but as a person. Weeks passed. The garden blossomed. Birds returned. Butterflies danced over petals. Harrison bought her a small notebook. "Write your thoughts," he said. So she wrote stories, prayers, poems, and sometimes just a single sentence. "Today I felt like I mattered." One Sunday, Harrison didn't go to work. Instead, he brought bread, akara, and oranges. "I've saved some money," he said. "Not much. But maybe we can start something. Maybe you sell vegetables from the garden? Or flowers?" Glory's eyes widened. "You believe in me?" "I do." She took his hand, rough from labor, steady with quiet strength, and smiled. "I believe in me too." And so, behind that big black gate, in the forgotten garden that once lay in ruins, Glory began a new life. A life where she planted more than seeds. She planted hope, dignity, and a deep, lasting truth that sometimes even broken things can bloom again. In the beginning, Glory didn't speak much. She answered questions with nods, smiled when spoken to, cleaned as though she were invisible. It wasn't fear, at least not entirely. It was exhaustion, the kind of quiet that came after too many years of being shouted over. The first night in the city had been hard. She didn't cry. Not because she didn't want to, but because even tears had become expensive. In Amiri, she'd learned to ration them. The room Harrison gave her was small but clean, with the bed covered in a neat blue sheet. She lay stiffly like someone afraid the floor might call her back. When she finally drifted off to sleep, she dreamed of her little brother Sam waving at her from behind a mango tree. The next morning, she cooked without being told. Not because anyone demanded it, but because she didn't know how not to serve. She boiled eggs, sliced bread, and brewed tea with shaky hands. When Harrison walked in, sweat on his brow and fatigue in his eyes, he paused. "You made breakfast?" She cleaned the compound like it was sacred. She washed clothes carefully, hanging them with care. She began to read the books Harrison left her, tracing the words with her fingers, saying them aloud when alone. She also found the gate. Behind the main building, shrouded in vines, was a small rusted gate. She pulled it open and stepped into a hidden world. The garden was wild and forgotten, branches crooked like tired arms, weeds fighting for space, but sunlight still managed to break through the trees. "This place needs love," she whispered. So she gave it. Every day after chores, she went to the garden. She dug through dry soil with bare hands. She pulled weeds until her fingers blistered. She planted tomato seeds and okra, hibiscus, and beans. Harrison noticed the stains on her fingers, the sun on her cheeks, the way she hummed when she walked. "You're different now," he said one night. "I'm becoming myself," she answered, surprising even herself. One was a woman in her 60s, walking by the house on her way to church. She peered through the gate and gasped. "These flowers?" she said. "Did you do all this?" Glory nodded shyly. "My daughter's wedding is next month," the woman said. "Will you sell me a few for her bouquet?" It was the first money Glory had ever earned on her own. From that day, people started stopping by. A school teacher who needed herbs, a young man who wanted roses for his girlfriend, an old man who asked if she could grow scent leaves. Glory's small black purse began to hold coins, but more than that, it held pride. It was from Amiri. Her half-brother Sam had written it with crooked handwriting. "Dear sister, I miss you. Daddy is still angry. Grace beats me sometimes. I hide in the mango tree. I remember how you used to sing to me. Please don't forget me. Your brother, Sam." Glory wept for hours that night. Harrison found her in the garden, hugging her knees. "He needs me," she whispered. "You can't save him yet," Harrison said gently. "But maybe one day, when you're strong enough." Glory looked up. "Then I will become strong." Harrison helped her build small wooden boxes for seedlings. He painted signs for Glory's garden in neat lettering. They bought a second-hand wheelbarrow and started delivering to nearby streets. One day, the landlady came, a stern-faced woman with a big handbag and red lipstick. "You're doing business here?" she asked. Glory froze. "Yes, ma," she said softly. "But only small. I can't stop." The woman looked around. "This garden was dead before you came," she said. "Now look at it. I'll take vegetables from you every Sunday. You keep going." Glory smiled. Not the shy, uncertain kind, but the full teeth-showing kind. The kind that didn't need permission. She was arranging marigolds in small bundles when Harrison returned from work, breathless. "Someone's here," he said. From Amiri, her heart stopped. Standing at the gate was Sam, skinny, dusty, eyes too old for a boy of 9. He ran forward and hugged her, like he would never let go. How did you—" "I ran away," he sobbed. "They wanted to send me to work in another town." Glory looked at Harrison. He was already dialing a number. We'll figure this out, he said. And they did. It took months of back and forth, legal talk, paperwork, and prayer. But finally, Glory became Sam's guardian. He enrolled in school, slept beside her in the small room, watered the garden when she was tired. The garden expanded. They bought the plot next door. Glory registered a small cooperative for women who had come from villages like Amiri, women like her, with cracked voices and calloused hands. She taught them how to grow, how to sell, how to believe again. Sam grew too, into a tall, quiet boy who read books and spoke softly. On his graduation day from secondary school, he stood beside his sister and whispered, "You gave me back my life." She held his hand. "You gave me mine first." Glory would walk through the gate at the back of her home into the garden that had once been dead. She'd knew by the soil and smile. This was where her new life had grown, not in a mansion, not in a city job, but behind a gate most people ignored, in a garden no one believed in except her.